The lone arrival. The Xelarian Empire's prison world of Novus 9 hung like a tarnished jewel in the inky blackness of space. Its swirling purple atmosphere concealed a harsh landscape of jagged mountains and toxic swamps, home to the most dangerous criminals in the galaxy, or so the Empire claimed. In reality, Novus 9 was a dumping ground for political dissidents, conquered species, and anyone who dared to challenge Xelarian supremacy. Among the prisoners was Lyra, a young Astrine woman with iridescent scales and piercing silver eyes. She had once been a rising star in the Astrine resistance, leading daring raids against Xelarian outposts. Now, she toiled in the planet's vast mineral mines, her dreams of freedom fading with each passing day. As Lyra swung her pickaxe against the unyielding rock face, she heard a commotion from the far end of the cavern. The Overseer, a hulking Xelarian with cybernetic enhancements, was shouting orders to his guards. Lyra strained to hear their words over the constant din of mining equipment. Impossible, the Overseer growled. How could a single ship breach our defenses? Lyra's heart raced. A ship. Could it be a rescue attempt? She squashed the hope as quickly as it had risen. No one knew where Novus 9 was located, and even if they did, the planetary defenses were impenetrable. The ground trembled, and a distant boom echoed through the caverns. Alarms blared, their shrill wails mixing with the panicked shouts of guards and prisoners alike. Lyra dropped her pickaxe and pressed herself against the rough stone wall, trying to make sense of the chaos. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light filled the cavern, followed by a deafening explosion. When Lyra's vision cleared, she saw a gaping hole where the main entrance had once been. Smoke billowed into the chamber, and through it strode a figure unlike any Lyra had ever seen. The newcomer was tall and lean, clad in sleek black armor that seemed to absorb the light around it. A helmet concealed their features, but there was something unmistakably different about their gait and posture. This was no Xelarian, nor any other species Lyra recognized. The figure raised an arm, revealing a weapon that hummed with barely contained energy. With a series of precise shots, the newcomer disabled the guards before they could even raise their own weapons. The Overseer, his face contorted with rage and fear, charged at the intruder with a roar. What happened next left Lyra and the other prisoners stunned. The armored figure moved with impossible speed and grace, dodging the Overseer's attacks as if they were moving in slow motion. A swift kick sent the Xelarian crashing into the cavern wall, where he slumped unconscious. The cavern fell silent, save for the crackle of burning equipment and the ragged breathing of the prisoners. The armored figure surveyed the room, then reached up to remove their helmet. Lyra gasped. The face revealed was unlike any she had seen before: pale skin, rounded ears, and a shock of dark hair. But it was the eyes that captivated her, eyes filled with determination, compassion, and a spark of something Lyra had almost forgotten existed: hope. "My name is Alex Thorne," the stranger said, his voice carrying clearly through the cavern. "I'm a human, and I'm here to free you all." A murmur rippled through the assembled prisoners. Humans were little more than a legend, a species from the fringes of the galaxy that most believed to be primitive and insignificant. Yet here was one, single-handedly breaching the defenses of a Xelarian prison world. Lyra stepped forward, her voice trembling but resolute. "Why? Why would you risk everything for us?" Alex's expression softened. "Because it's the right thing to do. No one deserves to live in chains, no matter what lies that Xelarians have spread about you." He tapped a device on his wrist, and a holographic map of the prison complex sprang to life. "We don't have much time. I've disabled their communications, but reinforcements will arrive soon. If we're going to escape, we need to move now." Lyra felt a surge of long-dormant emotions: hope, excitement, and a fierce determination. She turned to her fellow prisoners, seeing the same fire kindling in their eyes. "You heard him," she called out. "This is our chance. Who's with me?" A cheer went up from the assembled aliens, a cacophony of different voices united in a single purpose. Alex nodded, a hint of a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. All right then, let's make the Zellerians regret ever hearing the name human. As they moved out of the cavern, following Alex's lead, Lara couldn't help but wonder about this strange alien who had appeared out of nowhere to save them. What drove him? And how had one human managed to do what entire rebel fleets had failed to accomplish? Little did she know, their escape from the mines was just the beginning. The true test of human ingenuity and alien cooperation was yet to come as they faced the full might of the Zellerian Empire in a desperate bid for freedom. Alex led the way through the winding corridors of the prison complex, his movements swift and sure. Lara marveled at how he seemed to know exactly where they were going, navigating the labyrinthine structure with ease. "How did you learn the layout of this place?" she asked as they paused at an intersection, waiting for a group of confused guards to pass. Alex tapped the side of his helmet. "Advanced scanning technology. My ship mapped the entire complex before I landed. Plus, I've been planning this for months." Lara's eyes widened. "Months? You've been preparing to free us for that long?" A shadow passed over Alex's face. "I've seen too many worlds fall to the Zellerians. Too many species enslaved or wiped out. Humanity might be new to the galactic stage, but we refuse to stand by while others suffer." Before Lyra could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the complex. A booming voice echoed through the corridors. "Attention all personnel. Prison break in progress. Lethal force authorized. Repeat, lethal force authorized." Alex cursed under his breath. "They've overridden my comm jamming. We need to move faster." He turned to the group of prisoners, which had swelled to nearly 100 as they freed more along the way. "Everyone, stay close. Things are about to get messy." As if on cue, a squad of heavily armed Zellerian guards rounded the corner ahead. Their leader, a scarred veteran with glowing cybernetic eyes, raised his weapon. "Surrender now, and your deaths will be quick." Alex's response was a blur of motion. He dove forward, rolling under the first volley of energy blasts. Coming up in a crouch, he fired his own weapon, a strange pistol that seemed to bend light around it. The Zellerian leader fell, a look of shock frozen on his face. The other prisoners weren't helpless, either. Years of oppression had taught them to seize any advantage, no matter how small. They swarmed the remaining guards, overwhelming them with sheer numbers and desperation. Lara found herself fighting alongside of Exian, a mantis-like alien with razor-sharp limbs. Together, they disarmed a guard and turned his own weapon against his comrades. The corridors echoed with the sound of battle, energy weapons discharging and aliens of a dozen species crying out in a mix of pain and triumph. As the last guard fell, Alex motioned for them to follow him once more. "The hangar bay is just ahead. If we can secure a ship, we've got a chance of breaking Atmo." They raced through the corridors, the sounds of pursuit growing louder behind them. Lara's lungs burned, and her muscles screamed in protest, but the promise of freedom drove her onward. Finally, they burst into the vast hangar bay, a cavernous space filled with Zellerian shuttles and fighter craft. Alex sprinted toward the largest ship, a sleek transport easily capable of holding all the escaped prisoners. But before they could reach it, a massive explosion rocked the hangar. Debris rained down, and acrid smoke filled the air. Through the haze strode a towering figure, easily twice the size of a normal Zellerian. Cybernetic enhancements covered most of its body, and its eyes glowed with malevolent red light. "I am Warden Krasnox," the figure boomed, its voice a metallic growl. "You dare to challenge the might of the Zellerian Empire. Your pathetic attempt at freedom ends here." Alex stepped forward, placing himself between the warden and the prisoners. "The only thing ending here is your reign of terror, Krasnox." The warden laughed, a sound like grinding gears. "A human. The Empire trembles before no one, least of all a primitive species barely out of its own solar system." "Then you clearly don't know humans very well," Alex replied, his voice cold. "We're stubborn that way." With that, he charged forward, dodging the warden's first massive swing. Lyra and the other prisoners could only watch in awe as Human and Salarian clashed in a battle that would determine their fate. As Alex and Warden Krasnox fought, Lyra realized that freedom wasn't just going to be handed to them. They would have to seize it for themselves. She turned to the other prisoners, her voice ringing out over the chaos of the hangar bay. "We can't just stand here. Alex risked everything to give us a chance. Now it's our turn to fight." Her words ignited a fire in the assembled aliens. They spread out, some securing other ships in the hangar, others taking up defensive positions. Lyra herself led a small group toward the hangar's control center, determined to open the massive bay doors and give them a clear path to the stars. As they fought their way forward, Lyra couldn't help but glance back at the titanic struggle between Alex and Krasnox. The Human moved with a speed and precision that seemed impossible, dodging the Warden's earth-shattering blows and striking at vulnerable points in the cyborg's armor. But Krasnox was no pushover. His augmented body gave him incredible strength and durability. A glancing blow sent Alex flying across the hangar, crashing into a stack of supply crates. The Human struggled to his feet, his armor dented and sparking. Lyra's heart clenched. They couldn't lose him now, not when freedom was so close. She redoubled her efforts, fighting with a ferocity that surprised even her. Her claws tore through the control room's defenses, and soon they had access to the hangar's systems. "The doors," she shouted to a Quarian hacker who had joined their group. "Get them open." As the massive bay doors began to grind open, revealing the purple sky of Novus 9, a cheer went up from the prisoners. Ships began to power up, their engines thrumming with the promise of escape. But their elation was short-lived. Krasnox, realizing his prisoners were slipping away, let out a roar of fury. He charged toward the nearest ship, intent on destroying it before it could take off. Alex, battered but unbowed, sprinted after him. "Oh no you don't, you oversized tin can." What happened next would be seared into Lyra's memory forever. Alex leaped onto Krasnox's back, clinging to the cyborg's armor. The Warden thrashed, trying to dislodge him, but Alex held firm. With his free hand, he jammed his strange pistol into a gap in Krasnox's armor and fired repeatedly. The Warden's body convulsed, electricity arcing across his cybernetic implants. With a final, grinding groan, Krasnox collapsed, his systems overloaded. The hangar fell silent for a moment, all eyes on the Human who had just taken down the most feared Warden in the Salarian prison system. Then, as if a spell had been broken, the bay erupted in cheers and shouts of triumph. Alex stumbled away from Krasnox's prone form, his armor smoking and his movements pained. Lyra rushed to his side, supporting him as they made their way to the waiting transport ship. "That," Alex said between ragged breaths, "was a bit closer than I'd like." Lyra couldn't help but laugh, the sound tinged with both relief and disbelief. "You just took down a Salarian Warden single-handedly, and you're worried about it being close." Alex managed a weak grin. "What can I say? Humans don't like to cut things too fine." As they boarded the ship, Lyra looked back at the chaos they were leaving behind. Alarms still blared, and she could see more Salarian forces pouring into the hangar. But it was too late. The prisoners were already lifting off, a ragtag fleet of stolen ships rising into the purple sky of Novus 9. In the transport's cockpit, a Thraxian pilot with 4 arms deftly maneuvered them through the planet's turbulent atmosphere. "We've got company," he shouted, pointing at the radar screen showing several Salarian fighters in pursuit. Alex, who had been catching his breath in a nearby seat, struggled to his feet. "Get me to the gun controls. I'll buy us some time." Lyra watched in amazement as Alex took control of the ship's weapons systems. His fingers flew over the unfamiliar controls, and soon energy blasts were streaking from their ship, keeping the Salarian fighters at bay. "How are you doing this?" Lyra asked, awed by his ability to adapt to alien technology so quickly. Alex's eyes never left the targeting screen. "Humans are good at improvising. It's kind of our thing." As they broke through the last layers of Novus Nine's atmosphere, a new threat loomed before them. A Solarian battle cruiser hung in orbit, its massive weapons ports glowing with building energy. "We'll never make it past that," the Thraxian pilot said, his voice filled with despair. But Alex wasn't ready to give up. "Everyone, hold on tight. Things are about to get interesting." He took control of the ship, executing a series of maneuvers that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The stolen transport rolled and dove, narrowly avoiding the cruiser's barrage. The other escaped ships followed in their wake, using the confusion to slip past that Solarian blockade. As they hurtled into open space, leaving Novus 9 behind, a collective sigh of relief swept through the ship. They had done it. Against all odds, they were free. But Lyra knew their journey was far from over. She turned to Alex, who was slumped in the pilot's seat, exhaustion etched on his features. "What now?" she asked softly. Alex's eyes met hers, and despite his fatigue, she saw that same spark of determination that had first captured her attention. Now we find somewhere safe, regroup, and figure out how to take the fight to the Solarians." This was just the beginning. As the stars streaked by outside the viewport, Lyra felt a surge of hope and purpose. With allies like Alex and the combined strength of the freed prisoners, perhaps they stood a chance against the seemingly invincible Solarian Empire. The human had shown them that the impossible was possible. Now it was time to prove that lesson to the rest of the galaxy, forging alliances. The stolen Solarian transport ship, christened Hope's Gambit by its diverse crew, drifted through the star-speckled void of the Andromeda Rift. 2 weeks had passed since their daring escape from Novus 9, and the initial euphoria of freedom had given way to a tense anticipation of what lay ahead. Alex Thorne stood at the ship's viewport, his piercing gaze fixed on the swerving nebula that marked the border of Solarian-controlled space. The human's resilience continued to amaze Lyra. Despite his injuries from the battle with Warden Krasnox, Alex had worked tirelessly to coordinate their Rectig fleet and plot a course to safety. "Credit for your thoughts?" Lyra asked, coming to stand beside him. Her iridescent scales shimmered in the starlight, a reminder of the beauty that persisted even in the darkest corners of the galaxy. Alex's lips quirked in a half-smile, just thinking about how the universe has a way of bringing unlikely allies together. He turned to face her, his eyes reflecting the determination that had become his trademark. "We're about to enter the Crimson Expanse. If the intel I gathered is correct, we'll find help there." The Crimson Expanse, a region of space so named for its blood-red dwarf stars and treacherous ion storms. It was a haven for outcasts, rebels, and those seeking to escape the long reach of galactic empires. But it was also home to dangers that made even hardened criminals think twice about entering its borders. "Are you sure about this, Alex?" Lyra's silver eyes narrowed with concern. "The Expanse isn't known for its hospitality." "Sometimes the most unlikely places harbor the greatest allies," Alex replied, his voice tinged with a wisdom that belied his years. "Besides, we're running out of options. The Solarians won't stop hunting us, and we need resources if we're going to stand a chance against them." As if summoned by his words, alarms blared throughout the ship. The Thraxian pilot, Zexalor, burst into the bridge, all 4 of his arms gesticulating wildly. "Quantum signatures detected. Big ones. They found us." Alex sprang into action, his fatigue evaporating in an instant. "Battle stations. All ships, prepare for emergency jump." The next few moments were a blur of controlled chaos. Lyra marveled at how quickly the former prisoners had adapted to their roles as a crew. Species that had been enemies under Solarian rule now worked in perfect harmony, united by a common goal. The void behind them erupted with blinding light as its Solarian war fleet tore through the fabric of space-time. Massive dreadnoughts and swarms of fighters emerged, their weapons already charging. "They're locking on," Zexalor shouted, his multiple eyes wide with panic. Alex's hands flew over the controls, executing a series of maneuvers that should have been impossible for a ship of their size. "Lyra, I need you on weapons. Target their lead ship's propulsion systems." Lyra didn't hesitate. She had spent countless hours training on the ship's systems under Alex's guidance, and now that practice paid off, her fingers danced across the targeting interface and streams of energy lanced out from a Hope's gambit, striking the Solarian flagship with pinpoint accuracy. The massive ship's engines sputtered and died, causing it to list to one side, but the victory was short-lived. The rest of the fleet pressed forward, their superior numbers threatening to overwhelm the escaped prisoners. "We can't outfight them," Alex growled, his brow furrowed in concentration. "But we can outthink them. Zexler, plot a course straight for the heart of the nearest ion storm." The Thraxian's eyes bulged. "That's suicide." "Trust me," Alex said, his voice carrying an authority that brooked no argument. "Humans have a knack for turning certain death into improbable victory." As the Hope's gambit and its sister ships plunged into the roiling mass of the ion storm, Lyra felt a mix of terror and exhilaration. Bolts of crimson energy crackled around them, battering their shields and sending cascades of sparks across control panels. Alex's hands never left the controls, making minute adjustments that kept them from being torn apart by the storm's fury. "Reverse polarity on the shields," he shouted over the din. "Use the storm's energy to boost our jump drives." It was a maneuver that defied conventional physics, the kind of desperate gambit that only a species as audacious as humans would even consider. But to Lyra's amazement, it worked. The ship's energy readings spiked, and suddenly they were hurtling through space at impossible speeds. When they finally dropped out of their emergency jump, the Solarian fleet was nowhere to be seen. Instead, a new vista greeted them, the heart of the crimson expanse, where the laws of nature seemed to bend and twist in mesmerizing ways. As the adrenaline of their narrow escape faded, Lyra turned to Alex, her eyes shining with a newfound respect. "How did you know that would work?" Alex's smile was tinged with both pride and humility. "I didn't. But sometimes you have to take a leap of faith. It's gotten humanity out of more than a few tight spots." Before Lyra could respond, a new voice crackled over the ship's comm system. It was unlike anything she had ever heard, a melodious trill that seemed to resonate on multiple frequencies simultaneously. "Unidentified vessels," the voice sang. "You have entered the sovereign territory of the harmonious confluence. State your intentions or prepare to be atomized." Alex and Lyra exchanged glances. They had escaped the Solarians, only to find themselves face to face with a new and unknown power. But as Alex opened a channel to respond, Lyra saw no fear in his eyes, only the spark of curiosity and determination that had drawn her to him from the start. "This is Alex Thorne of Earth," he began, his voice steady and clear. "We come seeking allies in the fight against Solarian tyranny. We offer friendship and ask for sanctuary." There was a long pause, during which Lyra held her breath. Finally, the melodious voice returned, this time with a note of intrigue. "Earthling, we have heard whispers of your kind. Come, the confluence would speak with you." As a shimmering portal opened before their ship, beckoning them into the unknown, Lyra realized that their adventure was only beginning. With Alex at their side, they were about to forge alliances that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. The Hope's gambit glided through the portal, its hull vibrating with otherworldly energies. As they emerged on the other side, gasps of wonder echoed throughout the bridge. Before them stretched a vast cityscape unlike anything Lyra had ever seen, floating islands of crystal and light, connected by bridges of pure energy. At the center of it all hovered a massive structure that pulsed with a rainbow of colors, as if it were alive. "By the cosmic winds," Zexlor whispered, all four of his eyes wide with awe. "It's beautiful." Alex nodded, his own expression a mix of wonder and analytical curiosity. "The harmonious confluence. I've heard rumors, but I never thought I'd see it with my own eyes." As they approached the central structure, a beam of light enveloped their ship, guiding them to a docking bay that seemed to materialize out of thin air. The moment they touched down, Laura felt a subtle shift in the air around them, as if the very atmosphere was alive with intelligence. "We should prepare to meet our hosts," Alex said, his voice tinged with excitement. "Lyra, Zexalor, you're with me. The rest of you, stay alert but non-threatening. We need to make a good impression." As they disembarked, they were greeted by beings that defied easy description. The members of the confluence appeared to be living constructs of light and energy, their forms constantly shifting and flowing. Yet despite their alien nature, Laura sensed an unmistakable aura of wisdom and ancient knowledge about them. One of the beings floated forward, its voice the same melodious trill they had heard earlier. "Welcome, travelers. I am Harmony Prime, speaker for the confluence. We have long observed the conflicts that plague the lower realms, but rarely do we intervene. Your arrival intrigues us." Alex stepped forward, bowing slightly in a gesture of respect. "Thank you for your hospitality, Harmony Prime. We've come seeking aid in our fight against the Solarian Empire. They've enslaved countless worlds, destroyed entire civilizations. Someone needs to stand against them." Harmony Prime's form shimmered, colors swirling in patterns that seemed to convey deep thought. "And you believe that someone should be you? A lone human and a band of escaped prisoners." "We may be few," Lyra interjected, surprising herself with her boldness, "but each of us represents a species, a culture, that the Solarians sought to erase. Together, we embody the very diversity they fear." Alex nodded, a proud smile tugging at his lips. Lyra's right. The Solarians think their uniformity makes them strong. But we've learned that our differences, when united in a common cause, are our greatest strength. Harmony Prime was silent for a long moment, its form pulsing with rapid color changes. Finally, it spoke again. "Your words carry wisdom, young ones. But words alone cannot topple empires. Come. The confluence would know more of your story and of the human who dares to challenge the established order of the galaxy." What followed was unlike any diplomatic meeting in history. The confluence, it turned out, communicated not just through words, but through a complex interplay of light, sound, and empathic resonance. As Alex recounted their escape from Novus 9 and their vision for a free galaxy, the chamber around them came alive with swirling visions and emotionally charged atmospheres. Laura found herself reliving the moments of their daring escape, feeling once again the surge of hope that Alex had inspired in them all. But more than that, she began to understand the human in ways she never had before. Through the confluence's unique form of communication, she glimpsed the depths of Alex's determination, the weight of responsibility he carried, and the fierce love for justice that drove him. As the story unfolded, other members of the confluence joined them, their forms merging and separating in a mesmerizing dance. Laura sensed that they were not just listening, but actively debating, sharing thoughts, and reaching decisions at speeds that boggled the mind. Finally, after what felt like both an eternity and no time at all, Harmony Prime addressed them once more. "We have heard your tale, felt the truth of your convictions. The confluence has reached a consensus." The chamber fell silent, every being present holding their breath in anticipation. "For too long we have watched from afar as the lower realms tore themselves apart with conflict. We believed that enlightenment could only come from within, that interfering would only prolong the cycle of violence. But you, Alex Thorn of Earth, and your companions have shown us another way." Harmony Prime's form expanded, filling the chamber with a warm, golden light. "The harmonious confluence will aid you in your fight against the Solarian Empire. We offer you knowledge, technology, and a safe haven from which to plan your resistance. But be warned, the path you have chosen will not be easy. The galaxy is vast, and the Solarian's reach is long." Alex's eyes shone with a mix of gratitude and fierce determination. "We understand the risks, Harmony Prime. But with allies like the confluence at our side, I believe we can achieve the impossible." Lyra stepped forward, her voice ringing with newfound confidence. We've already achieved the impossible. A human, an Astrine, a Thraxian, and countless others working together. We're living proof that the Zalarian's vision of a homogeneous galaxy is flawed. Zexalor, who had been uncharacteristically quiet until now, raised all four of his arms in a gesture of solidarity. We may have started as escaped prisoners, but thanks to Alex, we've become something more. We're the spark that will ignite a revolution across the stars. Harmony Prime's form rippled with what Lyra interpreted as approval. Then let it be so. From this day forward, you are no longer fugitives, but emissaries of hope. The Crimson Expanse will be your sanctuary, and the Confluence your allies. As the chamber erupted in a celebration of light and sound, Lyra turned to Alex, her heart swelling with emotions she couldn't quite name. I never thought I'd see the day when the Confluence would take sides in a galactic conflict. You truly are remarkable, Alex Thorne. Alex's smile was warm, but his eyes held a hint of the challenges yet to come. We're all remarkable, Lyra. Every being here has suffered, lost, and still found the strength to fight on. That's the real power that Zalarians can't understand, the resilience of the spirit. As they looked out over the shimmering expanse of the Confluence's domain, Lyra realized that they stood at the precipice of something truly monumental. With the combined knowledge of the Confluence, the diverse skills of the escaped prisoners, and the indomitable human spirit embodied by Alex, they had a real chance of challenging the Zalarian Empire's dominion. The next phase of their journey was about to begin, and with it, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. But as Lyra met Alex's determined gaze, she knew that whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. A united front of species and cultures, bound by a shared dream of freedom and justice for all. The Quantum Gambit. The crystalline spires of the harmonious confluence glimmered in the light of 1,000 suns, a beacon of hope in the turbulent sea of the Crimson Expanse. Within one of its shimmering chambers, Alex Thorne stood before a holographic display that mapped the known galaxy, his brow furrowed in concentration. The Zalarians have tightened their grip on the outer systems, he mused, his fingers tracing the red zones that marked enemy territory. We need a game-changer, something they won't see coming. Lyra, her iridescent scales catching the light as she moved, joined him at the display. The Confluence has shared incredible technology with us, Alex. Surely there must be something here we can use. As if in response to her words, a melodious trill filled the air. Harmony Prime, the ethereal spokesperson for the Confluence, materialized beside them in a swirl of light and energy. Perhaps the being's multi-toned voice resonated. It is time we reveal to you the Nexus Protocol. Alex and Lyra exchanged glances, curiosity piqued. Nexus Protocol, Alex inquired, his eyes alight with a spark of discovery that Lyra had come to associate with humanity's insatiable thirst for knowledge. Harmony Prime's form pulsed with vibrant hues as it explained. It is a technology beyond the comprehension of most species. The Nexus Protocol allows for the creation of quantum entanglement on a massive scale, linking ships, planets, even entire star systems in a network of instantaneous communication and travel. Alex's eyes widened, his mind already racing with the possibilities. You're talking about faster-than-light communication, teleportation. Indeed, Harmony Prime confirmed, but it is not without risk. The energy required is immense, and an improperly tuned network could tear the fabric of space-time itself. Lyra felt a mixture of awe and trepidation. Is this why the Confluence has never used it against the Zalarians? The energy being's colors shifted to a somber blue. We are custodians of knowledge, not warriors, but in your hands, guided by the unique perspective of humanity and the diverse skills of your alliance, perhaps the Nexus Protocol could become the key to liberation. Alex's expression hardened with resolve. We'll need to assemble a team. The best minds from every species we've rescued. This could be our chance to turn the tide. Over the next few weeks, the Heart of Hope, their base within the Confluence, became a hive of activity. Brilliant minds from a dozen different species worked tirelessly to unravel the mysteries of the Nexus Protocol. Alex was at the center of it all, his ability to think outside conventional boundaries proving invaluable. Lyra watched in amazement as the human brought together beings who, under normal circumstances, might never have collaborated. There was Zix, a quantum arachnid whose multi-dimensional brain could process complex calculations in seconds. Elora, an energy-based minion whose insights into subspace mechanics were revolutionary. And perhaps most surprisingly, Kefok, a reformed Solarian defector whose inside knowledge of Imperial technology proved crucial. As the project progressed, Lyra found herself drawn more and more to Alex. His passion, his unwavering commitment to the cause, sparked something within her that she had thought long extinguished by years of captivity. One cycle, as they worked late into the night, she finally broached the subject that had been on her mind. "Alex, why do you do this? You could have stayed on Earth, safe from all of this." Alex paused in his work, his eyes meeting hers with an intensity that made her breath catch. Because every sentient being deserves the chance to be free, to reach their full potential. Earth was once like many of the worlds under Solarian control, divided, fearful of the unknown. But we learned to come together, to see our differences as strengths rather than weaknesses. He gestured to the diverse group around them. "This, right here, is the future I believe in. A galaxy where every species contributes its unique gifts to a greater whole." Lyra felt a warmth spread through her at his words. "You truly are remarkable, Alex Thorne." Their moment was interrupted by an excited shout from Zix. The quantum arachnid's multiple eyes were wide with excitement, its pincers clicking rapidly. "We've done it. The Nexus Protocol, it's operational." The chamber erupted in cheers as the fruits of their labor materialized before them. A shimmering web of energy, beautiful and terrible in its complexity, sprang to life in the center of the room. Alex stepped forward, his voice cutting through the excitement. "This is just the beginning. Now we need to weaponize it, turn it into something that Solarians won't see coming." Kefok, the Solarian defector, spoke up, his voice gravelly but filled with conviction. "I may have an idea. The Empire's strength lies in its unified command structure. If we could use the Nexus to infiltrate their communication networks, we could sow chaos throughout their entire empire." Alex finished, a grin spreading across his face. "Kefok, you're a genius." As the team set to work on this new phase of the plan, Lyra couldn't help but feel a sense of destiny. They were on the cusp of something world-changing, a revolution that would reshape the galaxy. But even as hope burned bright, a shadow of doubt crept into her mind. The Talarians would not go down without a fight, and the power they were preparing to unleash was beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. As if sensing her thoughts, Alex placed a hand on her shoulder, his touch sending a shiver through her scales. "We can do this, Lyra. Together, there's nothing we can't accomplish." Looking into his eyes, seeing the unwavering belief there, Lyra found her doubts melting away. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever sacrifices they might face, she knew that with Alex and their unlikely alliance of rebels, they had a real chance of forging a new future for the galaxy. The Nexus Protocol hummed with potential, a testament to what could be achieved when beings from across the stars united in a common cause. As they gathered around it, each member of their diverse team bringing their unique skills and perspectives to bear, Lyra realized that they were no longer just resistance fighters. They were the architects of a new age, one where the boundaries between species would blur, and the true potential of a united galaxy would finally be realized. And at the heart of it all stood Alex Thorne, the human who had dared to dream of a better future and had the audacity to make it a reality. The Stardust Revolution. The Nexus Protocol pulsed with an otherworldly energy, its quantum tendrils stretching across the vast expanse of space. In the command center of the Heart of Hope, Alex Thorne stood at the helm of a revolution that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy. "All systems a-go," Zix chittered, his arachnid legs dancing across a console of pure light. "The quantum entanglement is stable across all nodes." Alex nodded, his eyes reflecting the shimmering web of energy before him. This is it, everyone. Operation Stardust begins now. Lyra felt a thrill of excitement and fear course through her iridescent scales. Months of planning, of secret missions to plant Nexus nodes across Solarian-controlled space had led to this moment. They were about to wage war on a scale never before seen in the history of the galaxy. Initiating Phase 1, K-Thok announced, his once proud Solarian features set with grim determination. Quantum infiltration of Imperial communications in 3, 2, 1. The Nexus flared to life, its energy surging through subspace. On screens around the command center, they watched as chaos erupted across the Solarian Empire. Communication networks collapsed, defense grids went dark, and entire fleets found themselves cut off from central command. "It's working," Allura exclaimed, her luminous form brightening with excitement. "The Empire is in disarray." But Alex's expression remained focused, his mind already 3 steps ahead. "This is just the opening salvo. Lyra, it's time for Phase 2. Lyra stepped forward, her heart pounding. This was the part of the plan that relied most heavily on her species' unique abilities. "I'm ready," she said, her voice steady despite her nerves. She placed her hands on the Nexus interface, feeling the raw power of the quantum network flow through her. As an Astrine, her natural psychic abilities allowed her to navigate the quantum realm in ways even the Confluence found remarkable. With a deep breath, Lyra projected her consciousness into the Nexus. Instantly, she found herself flowing through a sea of information, riding waves of quantum probability. She could sense the minds of countless beings across the galaxy, all connected by the invisible threads of the Nexus. "Broadcasting now," she said, her physical voice a mere whisper as her mind soared through the quantum realm. "To all those who have suffered under Solarian rule, hear me. The time for freedom is now. Rise up. Take back your worlds. You are not alone." Across 1,000 worlds, in the hearts and minds of countless oppressed beings, Lyra's message took root. It was more than words. It was a feeling, a spark of hope ignited by the combined will of their diverse alliance. As Lyra's consciousness returned to her body, she stumbled, caught by Alex's strong arms. "You did it," he said softly, his eyes shining with pride and something more. But there was no time to dwell on the moment. Alarms blared throughout the command center, and Zix's voice cut through the chaos. "Multiple quantum signatures detected. The Delarians are adapting faster than we anticipated." On the main viewer, they watched as a massive Delarian fleet materialized at the edge of the Crimson Expanse. At its center was a ship unlike any they had ever seen, a behemoth that seemed to bend space itself around it. By the cosmic winds, K-Thok breathed, his voice filled with awe and terror. "It's the Hegemon's Fist, the flagship of the entire Solarian Armada." Alex's jaw set with determination. "They're throwing everything they have at us." "Good. That means we've got them scared." He turned to address the assembled team, his voice ringing with the authority that had drawn so many to their cause. "This is the moment we've been fighting for. Every being in this room, every alley across the stars, we all come from different worlds, different cultures. But today, we fight as one." Lyra felt a surge of pride and affection as she watched Alex rally their forces. This human, this remarkable being from a world that had only recently joined the galactic community, had united them all in a way she had never thought possible. "Harmony Prime," Alex called out, and the ethereal form of the Confluence's spokesperson shimmered into existence beside him. "It's time to unveil our final surprise." The energy being pulsed with anticipation. "The Starforge is ready, Alex Thorne. But I warn you, its power is untested. The consequences of its use may ripple across the very fabric of reality." Alex nodded gravely. "Sometimes you have to roll the dice to change the game. Activate the Starforge." Deep within the heart of the Confluence, ancient machinery hummed to life. The Starforge, a relic of a long-lost civilization that had once spanned the galaxy, began to draw upon the limitless energy of a dozen suns. Through the Nexus, its power was channeled to every rebel ship, every resistance fighter across Solarian space. Weapons sparked with newfound energy, shields glowed with impenetrable force, and engines burned with the fire of newborn stars. As the Solarian fleet bore down upon them, Alex's voice rang out across the quantum network, reaching every being who had dared to dream of freedom. To all ships, to every world fighting for liberty, this is Alex Thorne. The Solarians thought they could break us, that they could stamp out diversity and rule through fear. But they underestimated the power of unity, the strength we find in our differences. Lyra watched in awe as ships of all shapes and sizes, crewed by beings from 100 different worlds, moved into formation around them. The Nexus pulsed with their combined will, a force more powerful than any weapon. "This is our moment," Alex continued, his words igniting a fire in the hearts of all who heard them. "Not just to defeat an empire, but to forge a new future. A future where every being, regardless of their origin, has a voice in shaping the galaxy." As the hegemon's fist unleashed its first devastating barrage, the rebel fleet stood firm. Shields powered by the Starforge held against weapons that could shatter planets. And then, as one, they returned fire. The battle that followed would be spoken of for generations to come. It was more than a clash of ships and weapons. It was a war of ideologies, of oppression against freedom, of conformity against diversity. And at the heart of it all was a human named Alex Thorne, standing shoulder to shoulder with beings from across the cosmos, proving that the greatest power in the universe was not advanced technology or vast armadas, but the unbreakable bonds forged between those who dared to stand together against tyranny. As stars blazed and empires fell, a new age dawned for the galaxy. The Stardust Revolution had begun, and nothing would ever be the same again. Echoes of eternity. The cosmic battlefield blazed with the fury of 1,000 dying stars. The hegemon's fist, pride of the Solarian fleet, hung in space like a wounded leviathan, its once impenetrable hull scarred and breached by weapons powered by the mysterious Starforge. At the heart of the rebel armada, the heart of hope pulsed with quantum energy. Inside its command center, Alex Thorne's fingers danced across holographic interfaces, coordinating the most diverse fleet the galaxy had ever seen. "Zix, status report," Alex called out, his voice steady despite the chaos around them. The quantum arachnid's pincers clicked rapidly as it processed vast streams of data. "Rebel forces are holding strong, Alex. The Starforge's power is beyond anything we could have imagined. But there's something else. The fabric of space-time, it's becoming unstable." Lyra, her iridescent scales, shimmering with the reflected light of distant explosions, felt a chill run down her spine. The confluence warned us this might happen. The power we're wielding, it's too much for reality to handle. As if to punctuate her words, a massive rift tore open in the space between the warring fleets. It was a wound in the very fabric of the universe, a swirling vortex of impossible colors and mind-bending geometries. By the cosmic winds, K-Folk breathed, his Solarian eyes wide with awe and terror. "It's a tesseract anomaly, a bridge between dimensions." Alex's mind raced, processing the new development with the adaptability that had become humanity's hallmark. "This changes everything. If we can harness that rift, we might be able to end this war without further bloodshed." He turned to Lyra, his eyes blazing with determination and something deeper, a trust that made her heart skip a beat. "Lyra, I need you to use your psychic abilities. Connect with the Nexus, feel out that rift. If there's a way to control it, you'll find it." Lyra nodded, steeling herself for what was to come. She placed her hands on the Nexus interface, feeling the familiar rush of quantum energy flow through her. But this time, as her consciousness expanded into the network, she felt something new, a vast alien presence that defied comprehension. I can sense it," she gasped, her physical voice strained as her mind grappled with forces beyond mortal understanding. "It's not just a rift in space, it's a gateway, a path to somewhere beyond our universe." Alex's voice anchored her, keeping her from losing herself in the cosmic maelstrom. Can we use it, Lyra? Can we send that Solarian fleet through? Lyra's mind raced along quantum pathways, seeking a way to bend the anomaly to their will. Yes, I think so. But Alex, if we do this, there's no telling where they'll end up. We could be condemning them to a fate worse than death. For a moment, silence fell over the command center. The weight of the decision hung heavy in the air. Then, Heathcock spoke, his voice filled with a mixture of sorrow and resolve. My people chose this path, Lyra. They chose conquest and oppression over unity and understanding. Perhaps this is the reckoning we deserve. Alex nodded sullenly. We're not just fighting for our freedom anymore. We're fighting for the future of the entire galaxy, maybe even beyond. Sometimes, the hardest choices are the only ones we have. With grim determination, he opened a channel to the rebel fleet. All ships, this is Alex Thorne, converge on the Heart of Hope. We're about to attempt something never before seen in the history of the universe. As the Allied vessels moved into position, Lyra delved deeper into the quantum realm. Through the Nexus, she could feel the minds of countless beings, not just in their fleet, but across the galaxy. Spirits crying out for freedom, for a chance at a better future. Their collective will became a beacon, guiding her through the chaotic energies of the Tesseract anomaly. Now, Lyra, Alex's voice cut through her trance. Do it now. With a surge of psychic energy, Lyra seized control of the cosmic rift. Reality itself seemed to bend around the Heart of Hope as tendrils of quantum energy lashed out, enveloping the Solarian fleet. The hegemon's fist, that symbol of imperial might, was the first to be drawn in. Its massive hull creaked and groaned as extradimensional forces pulled it towards the swirling vortex. One by one, the other Solarian ships followed, helpless against the power of the anomaly. On the main viewer, they watched as ship after ship vanished into the rift, transported to some unknown corner of the multiverse. The battle that had raged across star systems was over in a matter of minutes. As the last Solarian vessel disappeared, the rift began to collapse in on itself. Lyra, her mind still linked to the Nexus, felt a final pulse of energy, a cosmic echo that resonated across dimensions. With a blinding flash and a sound as thunderclap, the anomaly winked out of existence. In its wake, it left a stunned silence that seemed to stretch across the entire galaxy. Slowly, Lyra withdrew her consciousness from the Nexus, slumping into Alex's waiting arms. Around them, the command crew stared in disbelief at the now empty battlefield. Did we do it? Zix chittered, breaking the silence. Alex nodded, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and exhaustion. We did. The Solarian fleet is gone. Their empire, he paused, looking to Heathcock. The Solarian defector finished the thought, his voice heavy with emotion. Without the hegemon's fist, without their central command, the empire will crumble. It's over. As the reality of their victory sank in, cheers erupted throughout the Heart of Hope. Beings of all species embraced, their differences forgotten in the joy of hard-won freedom. But Lyra noticed that Alex didn't join in the celebration. His eyes were fixed on the starfield before them, a look of profound contemplation on his face. Alex, she said softly, placing a hand on his arm. What is it? He turned to her, his eyes filled with a mixture of triumph and uncertainty. We won, Lyra. We freed the galaxy from tyranny, but at what cost, and what happens now? Lyra understood his concern. They had wielded power beyond imagination, had reshaped the very fabric of reality. The repercussions of their actions would echo across the cosmos for eons to come. Now, she said, her voice filled with determination, we build. We take all the diversity, all the unique perspectives and abilities that won us this victory, and we use them to create something new, something better. Alex smiled, some of the weight lifting from his shoulders. A galactic federation, perhaps, where every species has a voice. Lyra nodded, her heart swelling with hope for the future. Exactly. And who better to help shape it than the human who showed us all what we could accomplish together? As they looked out at the star-strewn expanse before them, Lyra realized that this wasn't an ending, but a beginning. The Stardust Revolution had changed everything, opening up possibilities that no one had ever dreamed of. With Alex Thorne and their diverse alliance of former enemies turned friends, they had a chance to forge a new destiny for all sentient beings. A future where the boundaries between species faded away, where the combined knowledge and talents of 1,000 worlds could unlock the deepest secrets of the cosmos. As the Heart of Hope turned towards the galactic core, ready to spread the news of their victory, Lyra knew that the greatest adventure was just beginning. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter, beckoning them towards a future limited only by their imagination and their willingness to stand together. The galaxy would never be the same again, and that, Lyra realized, was the greatest victory of all.